Every morning, before most people even open their curtains, an invisible conversation is already happening outside their homes. The birds in your backyard are watching the sky, tracking movement, listening for danger, remembering safe places, and in some cases, remembering you. To humans, a backyard can feel quiet, peaceful, random. But to birds, it is a constantly shifting battlefield of survival, trust, territory, warning systems, and hidden intelligence. And once you understand what these animals are really doing, you may never look at your backyard the same way again. One of the strangest hidden behaviors of backyard birds happens during the early morning hours. Right before sunrise, many species begin singing at nearly the exact same time every single day. Scientists call this the dawn chorus. For decades, researchers believed birds simply sang because morning air carries sound more efficiently. But recent studies suggest something much deeper is happening. Many birds are actually performing complex social checks. Before sunlight fully appears, visibility is still poor. Birds cannot easily rely on visual signals yet. So instead, they use sound to announce survival. A robin singing from a fence post may not just be creating beautiful music. It may actually be telling nearby rivals, "I survived the night. This territory is still mine." And the response comes almost immediately. Nearby birds answer back, creating an invisible map of who survived, who disappeared, and who still controls each part of the neighborhood. To us, it sounds peaceful. To them, it is intelligence gathering. And hidden inside those songs is another behavior most people never notice. Birds change the way they sing, depending on danger levels around them. Researchers studying chickadees discovered something astonishing. When chickadees spot predators, they alter their calls in ways that contain specific information. The number of D sounds at the end of their famous chick-a-dee-dee-dee call can actually communicate how dangerous a predator is. A small, fast predator, like a hawk capable of maneuvering through trees, often triggers more Ds, creating a more urgent warning. In other words, birds are not simply making noise, they are transferring detailed information. Some scientists now compare certain bird communication systems to primitive language structures. And perhaps even stranger, birds from completely different species often understand each other's warning calls. Imagine a squirrel freezing because it understood a bird's alarm signal. That happens constantly in nature. Entire backyards operate like shared surveillance networks. A single blue jay spotting danger can accidentally warn rabbits, squirrels, sparrows, cardinals, and even deer nearby. Many animals survive because they are secretly listening to birds. But not all bird behavior is about danger. Some of the most mysterious behaviors involve trust. Crows, for example, possess one of the most advanced memory systems ever discovered in wild birds. In a famous scientific study conducted at the University of Washington, researchers wore threatening masks while capturing crows for research purposes. Years later, the birds still recognized those same faces. Not only that, but younger crows who were never captured also learned to fear those individuals simply by watching older birds react. The information spread socially. Birds were teaching each other which humans were dangerous. Think about that for a moment. A bird in your backyard may remember you, not just for days, possibly for years. And once a bird decides you are safe, its behavior begins to change in subtle ways most people never notice. Certain birds slowly reduce their flight initiation distance, the space they keep between themselves and humans. At first, they flee immediately when you approach. But over time, if you repeatedly behave calmly, some species begin allowing you closer and closer. Scientists believe birds constantly calculate risk versus reward. Every movement you make gets analyzed. Direct eye contact can feel threatening. Sudden movement increases stress hormones. Loud footsteps trigger survival responses. But predictable behavior can slowly build familiarity. And in some species, familiarity changes everything. Researchers studying urban birds found that many backyard birds become surprisingly skilled at distinguishing between individual humans. Not humans in general. Specific humans. The person who refills bird feeders. The person who walks aggressively across the lawn. The child who chases them. The quiet neighbor who gardens every morning. To birds, humans are not one species. We are individual behavioral patterns. And perhaps the strangest part is how quickly birds detect emotional changes in an environment. Before storms arrive, birds often behave differently long before humans notice weather changes. Some suddenly stop singing. Others feed aggressively. Many disappear into sheltered area. Scientists believe birds detect subtle shifts in atmospheric pressure, low-frequency sounds, humidity, and even distant storm vibrations humans cannot perceive. To early humans, this probably seemed supernatural. Entire forests could suddenly go silent minutes before violent weather arrived. But the silence was actually communication. Birds were reacting to environmental information far beyond human senses. And silence itself may be one of the most important hidden bird behaviors of all. When birds suddenly stop singing at once, it often signals immediate danger nearby. A hawk overhead, a prowling cat, a snake moving through grass. The entire backyard can transform in seconds from noisy activity to complete silence. This phenomenon is called freezing behavior. Remaining silent reduces detection. Movement stops. Calls disappear. Every animal nearby becomes hyper-alert. And most humans walk outside without ever realizing they just entered a moment of collective fear. But perhaps the most emotional hidden behavior involves grief-like responses observed in some bird species. Crows, ravens, magpies, and jays have all displayed behaviors scientists still struggle to fully explain. Groups sometimes gather silently around dead birds. They stop feeding. They watch quietly, sometimes for extended periods of time. Researchers debate whether this represents mourning, danger assessment, social learning, or a combination of all three. But whatever the explanation, the behavior is powerful enough that scientists now study it seriously. Some experiments suggest these gatherings help birds learn about threats connected to death. Others believe strong social bonds may play a role. Either way, it reveals something deeply important. The emotional worlds of birds may be far more complex than humans once believed. And nowhere is this hidden intelligence more visible than during migration. Tiny birds weighing less than a few coins travel thousands of miles across continents with astonishing precision. Many navigate using Earth's magnetic field, star patterns, sunlight angles, polarized light, and even smell. Some species return to the exact same backyard year after year, the same tree, the same feeder, sometimes within days of the same calendar date. Scientists are still uncovering how such small brains accomplish navigation that would challenge advanced human technology. And yet, these miracles happen silently above our homes every single year. Most people never notice. That may be the strangest truth of all. An entire hidden civilization exists around us every day. Birds are communicating, remembering, calculating danger, recognizing faces, teaching their young, tracking storms, protecting territories, and navigating invisible highways across the planet, while humans barely look up from their phones long enough to notice. The next time a bird stares at you from a fence post or tree branch, remember this: you are not simply looking at a small animal. You're looking at a creature carrying millions of years of survival intelligence inside a brain no larger than a walnut. And somewhere in the hidden world outside your window, the birds are still watching.